Hey
Hey
guys,
guys.
we're back for another video, another Theory Thursday.
Yeah, the first video was actually doing some pretty decent numbers, at least for us. So we're kind of excited to do another one.
Yep, fixed up some microphone issues. Hopefully
So
it's listenable now.
yeah, hopefully your ears don't bleed this time.
We can only pray.
Yeah, so today we want to actually discuss the DCI. Now, if you don't know what that is, it stands for Dead Children's Incident, and it's essentially the kids that are killed
In FNAF
in
2.
FNAF 2. Yeah, that are like, they've always just been like the most random and mysterious like dead kids in the entire series. The entire event of the DCI is it just feels so random, and it feels like
It didn't have any impact ever.
Yeah, and it feels like it was maybe meant to be something more, but it just never got delved upon, like after FNAF 2.
Yeah.
Like Scott might have just forgotten about it.
He might have. I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, I think we even talked about this in the last video. We brought it up, I think, and I remember saying how, like, I remember when I first got into FNAF, it was mainly with FNAF 2. I remember seeing like the minigames with the dead kids, and I remember being like, oh, this must be the original killing. But, you know, it's obviously not, but possibly back then, maybe it could have been.
Honestly?
Some kind of like retcon.
I always thought that it was the MCI. Because, like, in FNAF 2, puppet stuff is, like, pretty clearly what's supposed to be a thing. But they might have retconned that in, with Help Wanted. But I think that at least some point, maybe even still, the DCI and the MCI are one and the same. And it's just that the puppet stuffs them.
It's also random, and it's like, think about like the toys, because like back to it not being the MCI and being like another group of killings. Like if they did possess the toys, like there's the whole question of whether or not they were actually stuffed or not.
Well, I don't think they would stuff them in the toys, especially like some of them are like skinny as hell. Like they stuffed it into Foxy, but
that's the thing. It's with Mangle, and then also since I believe you can count in the minigames, and there are 5 bodies that you can find, and that would mean one of them would most likely have to possess Balloon Boy, and it's like, how the hell are they going to stuff it in Balloon Boy too?
So they would.
Weird.
It would definitely go into the Withers.
Yeah, it's either that. Like I do think that either was meant to be like an MCI, and that just got retconned. I feel like just by like the 3rd game.
I'm not even sure if you could say that it was really retconned.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of evidence that like the MCI most likely happened before FNAF 2, but
yeah, true.
And you know, there's the whole MCI 85 thing now because of Into the Pit and whatnot. But
yeah. But like FNAF 2 could have been opened in 85.
Well, don't they state it was only open for a few weeks?
Yeah,
at the end?
You're right.
I mean, I don't know. That could have been retconned. I don't know. Like, I really do feel like that maybe...
He says, "Welcome to your summer job" at the beginning,
and
then you get paid, and it's like September.
That is true. Although I believe, I think the running theory is that he just recorded those in the summer and didn't know like when the place was going to get open. But like that just seems kind of dumb.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know. Also, if it says 2 weeks and then you get a recording from it being around like 6 months ago or some shit, can you like trust the 2 weeks mention?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when Scott was just recording the phone guy voice lines, maybe he just didn't think enough. Like he didn't connect the dots that his game took place in November of 1987.
Yeah, I mean,
there was like whole theories people were making back then that like FNAF took place in a different part of the world, like out of the US and like a different hemisphere, because of like possibly November being summer.
I mean, I don't think Scott ever thought it like that far ahead.
No,
he was just kind of going with the flow up until like FNAF 4.
There could have been a possibility for like the 3 months, you know, that we had FNAF 2 before like FNAF 3 came out. that maybe that event was the DCI was meant to be the MCI. Like, that could have just been like for that short period of time that Scott had that storyline, and then he just decided to not go with it. But because it feels like it's just so random that it had to have some kind of other importance.
Yeah, and with like Help Wanted, you can't really trust anything from the first like 4 games exactly anymore.
Yeah.
Even like 5 and 6 are getting called into question because of it. But I think it's mainly 1 through 4 because
it's mainly 1 through 4
because of the one story, right?
Yeah.
Basically, Fazbear hires some dude.
Steve Snodgrass, I think his name. Yeah,
they hire some dude to like make FNAF 1 through 4, but doesn't he die while making 4?
He's basically Scott, but in actual universe.
But doesn't he die while making 4, so 4 doesn't get released?
Yeah, he does die.
I feel like him not even finishing FNAF 4 calls it even more into question.
That's weird. I feel like my interpretation is that like versions of FNAF 1 through 4 exist within the FNAF universe.
Yeah.
But I almost like imagine them as like dumbed down versions of like the actual games.
I don't know. I think it really is just a way of saying we might change a couple details in these just so that the story is a little bit better.
It could be an excuse to like retcon things.
Yeah, like changing Charlie from a guy to a girl.
And also if you think about it, like if you really look at like the layouts of like especially like FNAF 1 through 2, like the layouts of the pizzerias, they seem very unrealistic. Like they were made, like obviously they were made for a game. But yeah, like those little explanations like that, those little things that just seem kind of out of place or not logical. It definitely seems like those could be explained through the idea of like, oh yeah, it's because these are games within the universe. Like the FNAF 1 location could have literally been like the movie location. Like that could have been like the exact setup like within the actual game universe.
Yeah. Also, we should get back on track. We were talking about the dead child incident.
Yes, DCI, that's the main point of this video, the main discussion of this video. For a good while, I did start believing that like the DCI is like the toys, and it probably is.
Like possessing the toys?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who believe they're possessed from the start. Like they think that the DCI happened like from the start, but it kind of seems like the DCI happened. I think it's like by like night 4 or something.
So you think it happens while the game is going?
Yeah. Because you know how Phone Guy talks about how there's the investigation going on? I'm pretty sure that's the night 4 phone call, right? Or is that like night 5?
It's either 6, isn't it? Night 6 is like, what are you doing here? They closed it.
Yeah, but he talks about the investigation before that though, and I think it's night 5.
Probably. You're the one that knows FNAF 2 more, so.
Because I'm pretty sure night 5 is when he's like, yeah, so we kind of have something going on here. And then night 6 is like, he's like telling you that you should be here because of what he told you.
What are you doing here? It's closed down.
Yeah.
At least for a while.
Yeah, so what I imagine is like, because, I mean, there's a whole thing where people think like, you know, if Mangle did the Bite of 87, they either think that the facial recognition went haywire because of the murders, or that Mangle became possessed and just thought that Jeremy was William. And like it could honestly be either one. Like at this point, FNAF 2 is like so like vague with its lore.
All of FNAF is incredibly vague. I don't know
FNAF
if I believe that
weird.
the toys ever get possessed. If they do, it's definitely like night 6.
It's definitely
my issue
what I think.
with the toys being possessed is I don't see why the mask trick would work on kids.
Yeah.
Like we're not talking toddlers here. We're talking like what at oldest 12, at youngest like 6 or 7 probably.
Here's the thing, the Wizards though, Wither, Freddy, Chica, and Bonnie technically fall for the mask, which I always never understood why. I won't lie.
I don't know. That's one of the main things I dislike about FNAF 2 is just that you can solve almost every animatronic using the same thing.
No, isn't it technically that Phone Guy states that they carried over some of the technology to the Wither animatronics because they were going to try to retrofit them. with the facial recognition, so that's why. But Foxy was the only one that they didn't really get to. That's why he's twitchy.
So are the toys possessed? I don't know. Maybe.
Really, it's you can't really know. Like I said, I do think that it might just be that they aren't possessed for most of the nights until like night 5.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Is night 5 when they get the white eyes, or do they always have them?
No, technically Toy Freddy and Toy Chica, and then Mangle on some of the cameras.
Does Toy Bonnie never have it?
Yeah, no, Toy Bonnie never has white eyes. Does Toy Bonnie appear on the cameras the least? No, Toy Freddy does.
Yeah.
Toy Freddy, technically, when he's in your office, isn't that actually just a reflection and his eyes are closed? I'm pretty sure there's like a debate on that. Like whether or not when he's in his office his eyes are closed or if those are white eyes.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to really for sure say that the toys are possessed. What else is there to really say about the DCI?
I believe there's a lot of debates on the time of day that it happened. If the minigame is really like, that's the thing, the minigame is probably, I wouldn't think it would be like an actual like 1-to-1 of where the bodies are, because it's like the bodies are just lying out in like the hallways and whatnot, and the only way that could be possible is if they were like killed at night. But honestly, the thing is, William served as the day shift guard. Yeah,
but the thing is, I could definitely see it as... Wait, is there proof that William served as the day shift guard?
Well, you know how Phone Guy talks about the day shift guard, how he's like, yeah, we switched him over to the day shift, and then the day shift guard, he technically like leaves. So
yeah, I suppose that could work.
And he leaves like when the investigation happens. So
I was thinking that, like, I mean, there is a chance that like William could have just lured them into the back and then waited until nighttime to kill them.
That is true.
Because like if he had done it during the day, he would still have been in there the entire time, because he couldn't just come out with blood splattered costume, right?
Yeah, with the MCI though, those most likely happened like during the day. But
I could see him waiting it out until people had left, and then
I mean he could have only just since definitely like at the MCI he was obviously like, you know, the co-founder, so he was more in a higher position of power at that point within the company. So he probably just was like to his staff, like, yeah, I'm going to be working in here or something.
Yep, don't
and so, yeah, and he could have just like took off the spring body suit and just left it there and then walked out. Like, I imagine that like he kept the spring body suit on when he killed the kids.
Yeah. His persona. Him working day shift only really matters if the DCI does happen during FNAF 2. Because there's a chance that it happened earlier, and if so, then William could be the night guard.
Oh, that is true. That is true. If it did happen earlier, then he could have been the night guard, because you know how he states that they switched the night guard over to the day shift?
Yep. So he would have been the night guard right before us.
Yeah.
And that can explain why the toys have been like... Doesn't Phone Guy say that the toys have been acting strange lately?
No, he talks about the withers though.
And that can explain it.
The thing is with Phone Guy's voice calls being over the summer is like I think he either just voiced the first phone call over the summer, or he voiced all of them over the summer, so every single event happened over the summer. But at the same time, it's like, why did he know that you return on night 6?
I don't know. It could have been talking to somebody else before us. I don't know. And even if William is the day guard, he could have done that and then gotten the night shift guard killed, because they wouldn't have suspected anything to be wrong with the night guard dying, because it's the night guard, they always die.
Yeah, it's either like the first call was recorded over the summer, or like the first like 2 or 3, and then when the investigation happens, Phone Guy decides to talk to you, like, you know, not in real time, but he decides to record it like...
Actually, what is Phone Guy's position here?
Well, Phone Guy's like, he's supposed to be like the head of security or whatever.
I guess, but you would expect him to like at least give you some personalization. Why would he just like be dealing in pre-recorded stuff, and then only when it gets serious decide, you know what, I guess I'll talk to this person? Also, that is true. It can't just be the final one, because as you said, they do kind of mention it in the one before that. So it could just be that the first one was pre-recorded.
It's either that or the investigation. I believe it's mentioned on night 5. I believe it's either night 4 or night 5. So he could have just like switched like on night 5. But it's also
FNAF 2 timeline. Oh god.
Yeah, FNAF 2 is, when you really think about it, FNAF 2 is pretty damn messy. There's
Basically,
a lot of just,
everything is messy. Somehow, FNAF 3 is one of the cleanest games.
Essentially, DCI is most likely, I feel like at this point it's a new killing, but I feel like it's still completely unanswered whether or not it happened over the summer, or whether or not it happened in the time that you are the night guard. Either that, like Scott could have just honestly messed up when he was recording Phone Guy's voice lines.
Yeah.
Like, it could have just been as simple as that.
Welcome to your new winter job.
Late fall job.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting though, like, honestly, like, if Phone Guy did record his calls over the summer, like, it would kind of make sense with William, like, being the night guard if he was able to, you know, kill the kids.
Plus, that would explain why he's like, why are you here? Like, because William would definitely come back.
That is true.
When it's like...
That is true. Yeah, so maybe the entire time it's like, the calls are sort of just meant for William, but you're hearing them. That's actually a pretty interesting concept. You know?
DCI is insane. It could be literally anything and literally nothing at the same time.
It's one of the most random and obscure plot points in the FNAF lore.
Yeah. At any rate, it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to be delved upon again. I mean, literally, it was never delved upon, even if, like, old FNAF days. Yeah. Like, it was literally just a plot point present in FNAF 2, and that's it.
At most, it gives us a rough approximation of when the MCI could have happened. And that's at very most useful. That's the absolute most useful that could possibly be. And it's like, we already have a year for it. Like, because 1985 is talked about as the MCI year for almost everything. We have a rough approximate year. So, having the month or so of it, or like the season of it, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and technically MCI was June, because June 26th.
Crap, that works. Honestly, yeah the William Nightguard situation there actually really works then. Because if it is like June, then him being there and the calls being meant for him works really well.
But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, please.
Like and subscribe, XD.
Yeah, we'll hopefully make more of these. These are interesting videos to talk about. Just discuss stuff and
we
discuss
aren't
our
just
thoughts.
a plush channel, I swear.
Yeah, we're gonna be planning on doing more things, like hopefully maybe gameplay content at some point if we get like the mic situation figured out. But anyways,
see you guys later.
Yeah, see you.